Thanks to a red-hot second half at the plate by Mackenzie Wright. Also getting it done with the glove, the Wichita State Shockers poised to make a strong finish to the regular season. Tonight for Christy Brettbender's team, a chance to sweep Oklahoma State. That is coming up next. Welcome to a sunny, windy Wilkins Stadium on the campus of Wichita State University in Wichita, Kansas, where tonight WSUTV brings you Wichita State Shocker softball. Tonight, the second in a two-game season series between the Shockers at 23-17 and the nationally ranked Oklahoma State Cowgirls, who have already won over 30 games this season. Steve Strain and Jamie Hull with you tonight from Wilkins Stadium. We've got the action with the first pitch coming up in just a couple of minutes. Jamie, I mentioned Wichita State's got a chance, though, to sweep the Cowgirls tonight. What a big shot in the arm that would be for this team. But let's talk about that 5-3 win they had a few weeks ago in Stillwater, setting up the potential for a sweep. What a win that was for this Shocker team on the road to come away with a 2-run victory.
Yeah, it was a huge win for Wichita State. I know they're thinking about that win as they come into this game today. You know, they really opened things up in the fifth inning when they had some big hits come up, and that was some that were sent over the fence out in Stillwater that really made the difference in that game.
Yeah, one of those home runs was by Asia Weber. It came in the fifth inning, helping the Shockers to that 5-3 victory. She's not only swinging the bat well against her former rivals, or former teammates, I should say, but overall in the season putting together a very nice year. But those are her former teammates, Jamie, and you know Asia gets fired up to see them, and that's something that certainly you'd think she's fired up about again here tonight.
Most definitely, and you don't want Asia Weber to be fired up, because when she is on fire, you see it right here. She's on a 9-game hit streak. She is doing big things for this offense, and when she has something to prove, especially on her home turf, she's going to come out swinging the bat really well. I expect to see her having a really great game today against her former teammates of Oklahoma State.
Now, as far as the pitching for Wichita State is concerned, it's not a law firm, but it was Bailey and Bailey, even though it sounds like one, that really got it done for the Shockers down in Stillwater a few weeks ago. There you see it. Lang started the game. Klitsky finished it, and those two combined to go the difference and give up just 4 hits. And it was Klitsky really in a pressure situation in the bottom of the 6th inning that really helped the Shockers secure the victory.
Yeah, I mean, the tying run was on base. Klitsky could have easily given it back to Oklahoma State in that pressure situation, but she's known to this team of Wichita State as Klutchki, and that's because she comes in the clutch and she makes a huge difference. So these two lefties really can come together and provide really big opportunities on the mound. Only 2 earned runs, struck out 7 against a team like Oklahoma State. That's some power, and I expect to see the same out of the start from Bailey Lang today.
Not an easy task to sweep this Oklahoma State team. It never is, and certainly this year no different. They are ranked as high as number 19 in the nation according to some of the latest polls. The USA Today coaches poll has them at 24. Then ESPN.com has them at number 19. Wichita State, though, used to playing some very good teams, as they are the number 6 toughest schedule RPI-wise in the nation. But again, it just plays into the fact that what a boost it could be for this Shocker team. There you see their RPI, if they could pull off the sweep here tonight.
That just goes to show you the strength of schedule Wichita State has faced, with an RPI of 34 and having the opportunities they've had against some really big teams like Oklahoma State. It would be huge to pick up a sweep on the season against the Cowgirls.
Great teams made up of great players. Vanessa Shippey is certainly one of those for this Cowgirl team, and she was named the Player of the Week in the Big 12. She's got a teammate, Emmy Robertson, we saw last time in the circle. She is the Big 12 Pitcher of the Week. What a combination those two make for this Cowgirl squad.
Vanessa Shippey is going to be that person that's going to be your leadoff hitter and someone that you're really looking to lean on offensively. She is someone who just makes a huge difference, not just for her team, but in the Big 12 conference alone. She holds the top spot in several categories offensively, and so you can kind of anticipate she's going to make a difference for this team every single day.
It ought to be a fun one. Stay tuned. Wichita State and Oklahoma State will have the first pitch coming up next.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Just about ready for action, Wichita State and Oklahoma State in a midweek contest for the Shockers and the Cowgirls. As Wichita State, a windy one the Shockers are hosting here this afternoon. Temperature just under 60 degrees, and I think, Jamie, even with that 20-mile-an-hour wind, we'll take 59 degrees because that's at least 20 degrees warmer than what we've had here, even very recently, as recent as maybe over the weekend.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of the nice days because we've had one or two scattered nice days. We're really lucky to have a nice one today, although the wind is going to create a little bit of a conversation today for both teams. But we'll see how the sun can really help us out staying warm as long as possible tonight.
All right, so the Shockers will watch Vanessa Shippey step in first, having a tremendous season at .492 on the year. And Jamie, Bailey Lang's hands will be full again with this Oklahoma State team that is batting a collective .331 on the year. They can really get it done with the sticks, and they'll also put the pressure on you, though, at the plate, where their earned run average is just 2.19. So the Shockers able to overcome all that a few weeks ago in Stillwater. We'll see what happens here tonight. There's the Shockers defensively as Asia Weber in right field again. Still no Paige Llewellyn. Everybody else pretty much, according to what you've seen, just about all season long, including Bailey Lang taking the circle for Wichita State.
Yeah, this is what Wichita State's really been focused on just most recently this season, is really making sure their defense is clutch and that they're doing what they need to do to get the small outs. There's been a number of errors happening for this Wichita State defense lately, and if you talk to the coaching staff, they're ready to see that get cleaned up, and when other than to do it the very next game. You know, they had a rough weekend at Houston, and this is the time to turn it around and get things going with the midweek.
Oklahoma State's batting order looks like that. Shippey will lead it off. Then Taylor Lynch hits second. The top four in their lineup above 300. Whitney Whitehorn just under 300. They are solid, though, pretty much all the way through. Mackenzie Thomas, the only one under 200. But this team very good at batting average-wise, but also on-base percentage as well. So just some tough outs up and down. So here we go. Shippey steps in. Bailey Lang is ready. And at 6:02 Central Time, we're underway. First pitch is in there. It's a strike. 0-1 to Shippey. "34th appearance of the season for Bailey Lang. 25th start of the year, and she's done a good job here. Ahead in the count, 0-2 to the very good hitting Vanessa Shippey, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. High and away, 1-2. Shippey only had one official at bat back on March 27th. She was 0 for 1. She walked 3 times. Here, she sends one to right and well struck. Weber going back, still going back, and reaches up in front of the wall and makes a catch. She really got turned around there as the wind was probably playing some tricks with that one. Shippey sends it to the track, but there's one away.
Very well struck ball out of Shippey here just in the first at bat against Lang, and you can see she takes this one all the way to the wall, and I think there for a while we were all wondering when it was going to come down. The wind was really holding it up, and great job from Asia Weber. Not really sure where that fence was and was able to really come up with that big out.
Taylor Lynch takes a strike, 0-1. The wind again is out of the north, so it's blowing in from left field, and if you've got one down the right field line, it might actually help that one a little bit, and you could certainly see it was playing tricks with Weber, and Asia did a good job to track it down. No balls and 2 strikes to Taylor Lynch. And there's the American flag. Half staff out in left field. Another good thing about this temperature today, Jamie, when the wind's been out of the north lately, it's just been bitterly, bitterly cold. It's out of the north today, in from left field, but at least it's in the 60s. We'll take that. Lynch thought about it and stayed away, and it's 2-2. '89th meeting between Wichita State and Oklahoma State, and the Shockers have only won 9 times as this one is fouled. Still 2-2. This would be their first ever sweep of Oklahoma State in the series. There you see it again as Lynch staying away, and now she takes strike 3, and down she goes looking. So a good start for Lang, who gets a fly out to right. Then Taylor Lynch caught looking, and there's 2 away.
If you are the pitching coach for this Wichita State team and Ryan Stefankowitz, this is exactly what you want to see out of Bailey Lang. 2 quick outs, working ahead in the count and doing what she can to get into the zone and do it early for her defense.
Maddie Sue Montgomery in now. Takes a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. 3.12 the earned run average for Lang, as there you see Montgomery's numbers outstanding on the season. And Lang has evened things up at 1-1. Second on the team is Montgomery with her .390 average, tops on the team in doubles and home runs. And she sends this one foul, and it's 1-2.
The first 3 batters for this Oklahoma State lineup coming in from the left side. So it's an interesting matchup when you have a lefty pitcher in Bailey Lang and seeing what she can do against the top half of this lineup, which is a very competitive group of girls on the left side of the plate.
This one might have started off over the first base coach's box, but the wind carries it well out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kenny Gajewski, the head coach for Oklahoma State, is over at third base. Stacy Pestrick, his assistant, is over at first, and there's strike 3, back-to-back strikeouts looking for Bailey Lang, and a very good start for her as she sends the Cowgirls down in order. Not easy to do after half an inning. Cowgirls nothing, Wichita State coming up.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shock the world.
Oklahoma State's Cowgirls not accustomed to going 1, 2, 3.5 inning, especially when it's at the top of the order. That's what happens. So now their defense out in the field looking like this against Wichita State, as the Shockers have a chance here to draw first blood. So here we go. Mackenzie Wright will step in for Wichita State. Logan Simonek gets the start for the Cowgirls tonight. The Shockers did see her in Stillwater out of the bullpen a few weeks ago. The right-hander delivers to Mackenzie Wright. It's a strike, 0-1. Simonek with a very nice 1.68 earned run average in 66 2/3 innings against the red-hot Mackenzie Wright. He takes down and in for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mackenzie had a 12-game hitting streak that came to an end in Houston over the weekend, but she is still swinging the bat very well, hitting streak or not, as she takes a strike here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shockers, of course, lost 2 out of 3 in Houston over the weekend and had that heartbreaking loss in Norman a week ago today as well. Right, ropes one down to left field. That's going to roll to the fence, and Mackenzie's got a leadoff double. First base runner for either team, Mackenzie Wright, after a leadoff double here in the bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, we talk about Vanessa Shippey, the leadoff hitter for Oklahoma State, getting things started for her team is generally what that leadoff hitter is going to do. You get to see Mackenzie Wright here for Wichita State continuing to be just a dominant player for Wichita State this season, sending that one all the way out into left field and getting a stand-up double. And that's a huge start for Wichita State after going with the goose egg against Oklahoma State and ending the first half of this inning, and getting something started offensively on their own.
Asia Weber now in, takes his strike, nothing in one to her. That is the 8th double of the season for Mackenzie Wright. That is second most on the team. She's tied with Riley Buck with 8. And this young lady here, Asia Weber, is the leader in doubles. She's got 9. She's bunting here, and it looks like it's going to be one that'll work. The only throw is to first. Sacrifice works, and down to third goes Wright. Nicely played by Shippey. The putout goes 5-3 on the sacrifice, but the Shockers have Mackenzie Wright now down at third base with one away.
Yeah, you really got to congratulate both players in this position here, because that's a great bunt from your number 2 hitter in Asia Weber and a nice little toss from Shippey over at third base. Didn't even rear all the way back, knowing that she really had to get that over to first base as quickly as possible, and that she did.
Now the team's leading home run hitter steps in, and that would be Lori Derecho, who's got 9 on the season. Having a very nice junior year for the Shockers. .317 the average with 9 homers and 31 runs batted in. And she's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Team leader in home runs and runs batted in. Nobody else with more than 28 runs batted in, and Derecho's up above 30. And this one is fouled at the plate, I believe. I think that one hit Derecho, or I thought it did, in the box, and nothing was called, and eventually it rolled foul. Shippey, even over at third, raised her hands right away. I think a lot of people thought that one hit Derecho while she was still in the box. We'll get another look at it. It's foul nonetheless, but here it is again. It just deadened itself off the plate. That's how it took that funny hop. Sliced foul, 2-2. Ryan Stefankowicz leaning out of the way over at first base. He is the Shocker pitching coach who coaches at first base. And of course, Christy Bredbenner over at third. 2 very successful head coaches. Gajewski for Oklahoma State, Bredbenner for Wichita State. Counts even at 2 apiece. A little flare, shallow left. That's down. That'll be a base hit. And it's 1-0 Wichita State on a soft RBI single for Lori Derecho. Well, Jamie, we say sometimes it's not always how hard you hit him, but where you put him. And Lori found the right spot for this one.
That's exactly right. With 2 strikes, you got to be swinging at anything. She's protecting the plate. That was on the inside half. It kind of jammed her up a little bit, but she put it exactly where she needed to, right into no man's land in order to get Mackenzie Wright to come on in. That's where you see 2 Oklahomans right there coming together to string 2 together and get the first run on the board.
And that would be run batted in, number 32 on the year for Derecho, as Riley Buck grounds out to short. And that's the second out of the inning. Down to second goes Derecho. So 2 away now for Bailey Nickerson. Bailey hitting out of the 5 spot for Wichita State tonight. On the season, she's at .272 with the average. And she'll ground one to Shippey at third and a throw to first. And that's that. But the Shockers get a leadoff double, manufacture a run as a result. And after one, Shockers 1, Oklahoma State nothing.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Ready for the second inning. Shockers get the run across in the bottom of the first, and Jamie Bailey Lang would like to put that top of the first inning in a bottle and bring it out to the circle every half inning.
Yes, she would, because if that's the case, she would be working very fast. I think we might be out of here in less than an hour if Wichita State continues to have the defensive outing that they had in the first half of inning number one. And really, it kind of boils down to just throwing strikes, and that's exactly what we saw out of Lang in the first inning.
Partly because she was getting ahead in the count. Here she's behind early to Sydney Pennington. 1 ball and no strikes. Pennington, the cleanup hitter for Oklahoma State, takes in tight, and it's 2-0. Pennington with 7 homers on this season, a .510 slugging percentage. Takes a strike there, and it's 2-1.
Pennington is a freshman in the cleanup spot. That says a lot about the confidence that Kenny Gajewski has in her coming in from the high school level and travel ball that he has seen. It definitely shows that she's done some proving of herself so far in her first year at Oklahoma State.
Good job by Lang to even the count now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hot shot just outside the bag at third. And it's still 2-2. Bailey Lang this season has walked 55 hitters and struck out 140. 62 earned runs and 134 in 2/3 innings. Opponents batting .241 against her, as this one is popped behind the plate. Madison Paragon runs out of real estate, and the count's still 2-2. Lang did get the start against Oklahoma State March 27th, went 4 2/3 innings and surrendered 2 earned runs. She walked 3, struck out 4. She's worked the count here full at 3-2. Bailey only started in 1 game over the weekend at Houston, and that was game 1 of that series. She went 3 innings and was not her best. 4 earned runs. This one is off of her glove over toward Hecker at second, and that will be a base hit. As Pennington, a hot shot back toward Lang, who couldn't come up with it cleanly. So the first base runner of the game for Oklahoma State is aboard. That's Sydney Pennington, and here's Whitney Whitehorn. Strike, 0-1. There you see Whitehorn's numbers on the season. Average just below 300 on the year. Upstairs, Shockers may appeal, and to no avail. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lang did pitch in all 3 games over the weekend against Houston, but she only started last Friday. She was on in relief Saturday and Sunday, as we've got another appeal. And again, it's a ball, 2-1. Two and one. As this one is driven to left, let's see if the wind can hold this one up. It looks like it will. Palmer backed up and then comes in. That right into the teeth of the wind, Jamie, and you could see it held that one up. On a day where the wind's not blowing 20, it might be 2-1 Oklahoma State.
Yeah, by the sounds of that right off the bat, it certainly sounded like it had a lot of chance to get over the fence here at Wilkins Stadium. really, really bulleted out there, but you can see as the flag's blowing it in, Palmer, in fact, is coming off the warning track more toward infield in order to make that out. So the wind is definitely going to be a factor, and hitting pop flies or even hardline drives to the outfield might turn into an out each time.
Here's Chelsea Alexander taking a strike. It's interesting to think about because when Bailey is most effective, she's getting ground balls. But today is a day where she can also afford, certainly to left-handed batters, maybe to get the ball up a little bit more than normal as well because of things like that. Not going to get hurt as much on fly balls to left field today as you might normally. Chelsea Alexander, the batter, 1 ball and 1 strike to her. And now 1-2 is Lang, deals a strike.
Alexander's only the second freshman to be in the lineup here, the starting lineup here for Oklahoma State. She's from Ada, Oklahoma.
Swing and a miss. Down she goes. First strikeout swinging issued by Bailey Lang. That's her 3rd overall K, and 2 away for Jessie Hafner. That was a really good job by Lang, as she really did want to mess with Alexander and send her away rather quickly.
Yeah, Lang's definitely looking like she's on today. She's looking in control, staying ahead of the hitters, and able to really come back with the stuff that she wants to throw, which is always going to be the best situation you want your pitcher to be in.
And she's ahead to Hafner, 0-1. And although, Jamie, she was shaky over the weekend, her best performance was Sunday. Swing and a miss, where she pitched 3 innings against Houston and allowed no earned runs. Struck out 3 in 3 innings. So she is coming off of her best of the 3 on Sunday against Houston, as this one is away intentionally, pretty much. That's where Perrigan lined up, 1-2. Well, we'll see if Bailey can pick up where she left off against Houston Sunday. So far, so good, as this one is fouled out of play, 1-2. There's a look at Hafner, the first baseman for Oklahoma State. She was 0 for 2 a few weeks ago when these two teams matched up in Stillwater, and down she goes on strikes, and that would be 4 strikeouts for Bailey Lang. 2 in each inning. That's not a bad start. After 1.5, 1-0 Shockers.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
1.5 in the books, 1-0 Wichita State. Shockers with a couple of first inning hits, helping bring across the only run of the game so far. Paige Llewellyn, Bailey Lang, and Madison Perrigan will hit here in the bottom of inning number 2 as Llewellyn set to step in. Good crowd on hand today, and that's nice to see. The sunny skies will bring them out even with the wind, but again, I don't think anybody's complaining about the 20-mile-an-hour wind based on what we've had here recently, Jamie, with Wichita's weather. It's been windy a lot lately, but certainly not this warm for a good part of the last several days.
Yeah, you can see them all up there. Some are bundled up, some have some caps on, but they're happy to be here because they're hoping to see a Wichita State win at home against a great team in Oklahoma State.
2-0 to Paige Llewellyn. Oklahoma State's got plenty of fans here as well. This is always a fun one. And Oklahoma State has also lost to Tulsa this season, so they're not real crazy about these American Athletic Conference teams, if you think about the Cowgirls and what they've done this season record-wise, is it's 2-1 to Llewellyn. They've lost 12 games on the year, and already a couple of those to both Tulsa and Wichita State. That one is down, 3-1 to Llewellyn. There's Logan Simonek. This is just her 7th start of the season in 24 now appearances. So primarily a reliever, as I mentioned earlier, including that being her role against the Shockers a few weeks ago. As Llewellyn chops this one foul to fill the count, 3-2. She pitched 2 innings, did Simonek, against the Shockers back on March 27th. Gave up a couple of hits, 1 earned run, walked 1, struck out 3. She is just a sophomore as this one is chopped, and Llewellyn stays alive, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, going back to this being just kind of a rivalry, we talked about it earlier with the stands being full today. You've got a lot of students from Oklahoma on this Shocker lineup, including the one at the plate, Paige Llewellyn. There's 8 of them. 8 Shockers resided in Oklahoma at some point before heading into Wichita to play at the college level here at Wichita State. So that just goes to show you a lot of families are close by, within driving distance, to be able to watch their Shockers at home against a fellow home team, an Oklahoma team here.
Llewellyn stays alive at the plate, chopping 1 foul, and obviously Oklahoma State's got plenty of Oklahomans as well, including Simonek, who's from Piedmont, Oklahoma. So you would imagine a lot of these players are familiar with each other, going all the way back to maybe high school and before with travel ball and what have you, and high school as well. As Llewellyn looks like she's seen Simonek before on that pitch, rips one to center. That'll be a double for Paige. And in back-to-back innings, the Shockers get a leadoff double. So Paige is on at second base, and now here's Bailey Lang. Both of these doubles, Jamie, no doubters. Wright had the first inning double. Llewellyn here, just her 4th of the year, but she really hits this one on a rope.
Yeah, Paige Llewellyn is certainly looking to be one of those stars in this lineup. She's started off the season super strong, has struggled just a little bit at the plate, doing her best to make adjustments. And, you know, you can see her having a conversation even with Elizabeth Economan in her first year as the hitting coach for Wichita State, nodding her head and agreeing that she made the adjustment necessary in her very first at-bat here against Logan Simonek in order to get that ball out into the outfield. And again, with no outs, Wichita State looking like they've got something going here.
Jeff Cottrell has gone out of the dugout to the circle for Oklahoma State, and now he is back in. Shockers, in the meantime, have a courtesy runner out there, and that would be Kaylee Hecker, who is starting at second base, but not batting today. She will run for Llewellyn at second base as Bailey Lang steps in. There you see Hecker in the foreground as Lang takes a ball 1-0. Bailey's got the average at 275 on this season. Trying to bring Hecker around, which would give Wichita State their 2nd run of the game if she does, as Lang fouls this one off to the left side. 1 ball and 1 strike. .275 for Lang. 3 homers, 13 runs batted in. The 1-1 comes high and tight, 2-1. Bailey was 1 for 2 against the Cowgirls in their game earlier this season. She's going to bunt here, and it's going to be a good one. And the only option for Simonek was to throw to first base. The sacrifice goes 1-4 on the putout. And just like the first inning, the Shockers get a double and a sacrifice. And with 1 out, just like the first inning, a runner at third base.
It's a great bunt, you know, and you can really attest to saying that the short game just like this off of the bat of Bailey Lang can make a huge difference. It did it for Wichita State in inning number 1 when Weber laid down the bunt to move Mackenzie Wright over, and that's really what it's all about, getting your players all across all the bases and getting them in to score.
So Madison Perrigan in now, taking a strike over and apparently at the knees. 0-1 to Perrigan. Madison at 243 on the year. Good eye there, holding off on one that came up about chin high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Perrigan's a sophomore from Mustang, Oklahoma.
5 homers, 25 driven in. Great opportunity to do that here with the runner at third, 1 away, and she takes down low. 2 balls and a strike.
She's really feeling it at the plate right now, Steve. She's in April alone, has gone 7 for 21, so she's trying to get her rhythm back, and she did really great things over the weekend, getting on base, getting some RBIs in there, making sure that she's staying focused.
Little check swing here, and they're going to throw to the plate, but Hecker only bluffed, and it'll be a base hit now. Over at first base is on at first is Perrigan. Well, Hecker jumped right there at third. That got the attention of Simonek, and Simonek looked to throw home, but Hecker went right back to third, and there was no throw.
Yeah, you can see this check swing just off Madison Perrigan's bat. She's frustrated running to first base, but you see Kaylee Hecker taking a really strong lead over there, and I think that's really what drew the throw home and ended up really going into the favor of the Shockers on that play.
So Perrigan's on at first, and now Morgan Palmer slaps one out of play, and it'll be 0-1 to her. So the Shockers now with runners at the corners with 1 away. This does increase the possibility of a ground ball double play that would get Oklahoma State out of the inning. Now with runners at the corners and 1 away. Well, and that's not going to happen on the ground as Palmer sends one in the air to left. Nice running catch by Alexander, about knee high, reaching forward. Great look there by our crew with the insert. You can see Hecker is holding at third base. 2 away. So runners at the corners with 2 outs now for Mackenzie Wright. Mackenzie had that line drive double into left field to start the bottom of the first inning. Eventually came around to score. And she's going to go the other way this time. This one is going to get out. It's a fair ball. It's going to score at least 1. Now rounding third and heading home is Perrigan. She'll get there as well. It's a triple for Wright. 3-0 Wichita State. That is just the second triple for Mackenzie Wright, Jamie, showing her versatility, going to left field in the first inning and then to right here.
If I'm a pitcher, I do not want to see Mackenzie Wright up to the plate with people on base right now. She is hot. She's going left to right. Doesn't matter where you throw it. If it's anywhere close, she's aggressive right now. She looks like a great hitter at the plate, someone who's going to make things happen offensively, and there she goes doing it right there with that slide into third base, and she's pumped, and she has her team pumped too. This is a dangerous place to be here against Wichita State today.
Asia Weber sends one to center. This one is well struck. This one is back, and this one is gone. 5-0 Shockers on the 2-run homer for the former Cowgirl who does it again. Her third home run of the year, Jamie, and 2 of them have come against a team she used to play for, the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, and the Shockers have put up a 5 spot now with 1 and 4 so far.
You would talk about versatility with Mackenzie Wright, who comes in and hits one, a double in the first inning to left, a triple over to right, and then you turn around and you see someone like Weber walk in. She sack bunts in the first inning, and then she sends one over the fence. First pitch swinging over center field fence. That's just amazing to say that you have a versatile hitter in your top two.
Lori Derecho grounds out to end it, but the Shockers score 4 in the second inning as they have the power going. A double, a triple, a homer. As part of their 3 hits, they're up by 5.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Shockers put up a crooked number in the second inning. They bring home 4 after a single run scratched across in the first inning, and Asia Weber not affected by that wind in from left field here, Jamie.
Yeah, you can see Asia Weber just continuing her streak against Oklahoma State this season. She did the same thing in the 5th inning at Stillwater when they were there earlier this season. There she goes around in the bases, and she just makes a huge difference here for her offense in that inning.
And Mackenzie Thomas is going to lead off the top of the 3rd inning by getting plunked, and so she'll head down to first base. Runner at first for the Cowgirls. And to Maddie Holcomb now.
There's one thing that you really want to see out of Bailey Lang. She's done a great job today. There's no doubt about that. She's held Oklahoma State to 1 hit so far. But when you look across her stats, she does have now 11 hit by pitches. So she does lose control at times. She will miss her spots at times. And so this is where it really comes down to that leadership mentality that she has, where she can say, you know what, I'm going to turn this around and get things going here for my defense.
Now Oklahoma State's going to get a sacrifice bunt from Holcomb, and it's a good one. 1-4 on the put out to first as Hecker covers the bag at first, and Thomas goes down to second base. Well, and one of the things it seems like, Jamie, as we take a look at the bunt again, well executed by Holcomb, and I'll finish the thought in a second, but nicely placed bunt here.
Definitely. If you want to go to anyone, you usually want to go to the pitcher on a sac bunt, but here for Wichita State, their pitching staff's very good defensively at their positions.
Vanessa Shippey up there takes a strike, 0-1. It seems like also, Jamie, that Lang has struggled with her control even against some of the lesser hitters for the opponents. Good stop by Perrigan, 1-1. Mackenzie Thomas, Jamie, was only hitting 190, and that's not somebody you want to give a free pass by hitting them, and that's exactly what happened. Not only that, it leads off this 3rd inning, but you've got to let these hitters who are hitting less than 200 beat you would think, with throwing strikes.
Yeah, that's definitely going to make a difference, especially when you have someone like Shippey who comes up to the plate with a 492 average entering today. That's not someone you want to face with runners in scoring position.
Having said that, as the pitch comes upstairs, Lang was flawless in the 1st inning against Shippey, Lynch, and Montgomery. 3 outstanding hitters to start the game for the Cowgirls. They went in order 1, 2, 3, including 2 of them striking out. This is going to get through. It's going to be a base hit. Actually, it's going to be Hecker diving for it, but still behind the bag at second. She'll come up with it, and the Cowgirls have them at the corners with 1 away.
This was actually a really good pitch from Lang because it ended up actually jamming Shippey at the plate, and she just really kind of did what she could with it, sending it up the middle here, and Hecker making a really nice hustle play there to save the runner from going home. And Thomas certainly could have had an opportunity to do that had the ball gone out to center field. So you got to tip your cap to her for making that adjustment and making sure that it didn't go all the way out to the outfield.
Now Taylor Lynch in, takes a strike, but I'll tell you what, against somebody hitting 492 with a 700 slugging percentage, you'll take a weak ground ball up the middle, up 5-0. Double play is a possibility now on a ground ball to the infield. This is going to be a slicer, though, to the outfield, and Oklahoma State's going to get on the board. It's 5-1. .37th run batted into the season for Taylor Lynch as Thomas scores from third base. And Oklahoma State's now got him at first and second with one away. Maddie Sue Montgomery takes a ball 1-0. So the Cowgirls have back-to-back singles now that they've started going through their lineup here for the second time tonight. A strike taken 1-1. Bailey was good for Wichita State through 4 2/3 before she exited against the Cowgirls in the previous matchup between these two earlier this season. 2 balls and a strike to Montgomery.
Montgomery is certainly a power hitter for this team, leads them in a lot of categories, doubles, home runs, slugging percentage. We talk about Shippey at the leadoff spot with a 700 slugging percentage. You look at Montgomery, 759. Who would have thought it gets even better than that? But she has got some power to her bat, and Lang looking to make sure that doesn't cause too much havoc for her here in this inning.
Counts even at 2-2. Lang trying to get her out on strikeouts for the second consecutive at bat. An appeal here. Third base umpire says no. The count's full 3-2. Chopped foul and the count's still full. Bailey Lang with a pair of strikeouts in each of the first 2 innings. Only 1 out here in the third. That was a little bunt right back to her by Maddie Holcomb. Here, it's back to Lang again, and there'll be no throw. Everybody safe. They're loaded. Well, that was a hot shot back to Bailey, and she looked at third, but Shippey was just about there, and then by the time Bailey looked over to first, there was no time to go anywhere.
Yeah, you can see this ball come straight back to Bailey Lang. She makes the throw over to first, looks like she's going to anyway, and then decides, you know what, I heard someone say third base, I'm going to try and go for that. And it's just, the bases are way too close in softball to second guess where you're going to go. The runner's definitely going to be there, especially with the speed of Shippey from second to third. So, you know, just a tie-up play, and for Lang, that just means going home with it, you know, and you got to shake it off. You've got 1 out. The big opportunity is going to be making that play at home from here.
So 3 consecutive singles now for the Cowgirls, or excuse me, that was a fielder's choice. But they do have them loaded. This one's going to be sent to right. Weber's there. Will the runner come home? She will, and she'll score, and it's now 5-2. On the sacrifice, Sydney Pennington brings home Shippey to make it a 3-run Shocker lead. Taylor Lynch also makes her way down to third base on the play. So Shippey went station to station, a single. She moved to second on a single, to third on the fielder's choice, then home on a sacrifice. As now Bailey Lang has seen 2 cross here in the inning for the Cowgirls, and her Shocker team lead down to 3 now at 5-2. Whitney Whitehorn is in. And taking one a little up high, 1-1.
As you mentioned earlier, Steve, it goes back to the control. You know, this inning led off with Thomas with the hit by pitch. That's always, for good teams, going to turn into a little bit of a disaster. And that's exactly what Wichita State's kind of looking at here. Bailey Lang continuing to bring back her control and looking a lot better than she did there in the early half of this inning, but it certainly is going to lead to some scores for some good teams like Oklahoma State.
That last pitch was interesting if we have time to talk about it. 2 pitches ago now is that one up high. Harrigan lined up almost like she wanted the target in the left-handed batter's box, and Lang painted the outside edge for a strike. Now Ryan Stefankowitz has called time. Did he motion to the bullpen or to Coach Bredbender? It looks like Coach Bredbender is coming out as well. So there'll be a conversation. And I don't know if she missed her mark when Harrigan lined up way outside or if that was the plan, but it looked like Madison even wanted one a little farther away than what it was. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There is a conversation out in the circle with the count 2-2. You'd have to think this is a pretty critical situation in this game, Jamie, with Oklahoma State having a couple runners on and a 3-run game early in this one. Can Bailey keep it together? Well, you've talked about sometimes, I know Coach Bredbender has mentioned her concern about Bailey's focus sometimes. The skills are there, but sometimes having her go 6-7 innings consistently becomes a problem for her.
Yeah, and that's what you just said. You hit it really on the head, is just about the focus. And, you know, softball is a game of just making adjustments throughout the entire game. And as a pitcher, same thing. You got to really make the adjustments when necessary and try and do things the opposite of that right there. And that's another free base. And that really is going to make a huge impact on this pitching staff. The more free bases you give up, you're going to see a lot more difficult times for your defense.
And Whitney Whitehorn has drawn a walk to load him up again. So Lang is looking at him full again as Chelsea Alexander steps in now, who struck out in the second inning. Lang does a good job of painting the outer edge, 0-1. Alexander struck out swinging in the second inning. And she's going to lift this one out towards second. Hecker is there, makes the catch, and the Cowgirls leave them loaded. But they do score a couple times to pull within 3 as we go to the bottom of the third. 5-2 home team.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, the Cowgirls of Oklahoma State bring 2 across in the top of the third inning. Now will Wichita State be able to answer? They've got a good part of their lineup up to do that, as Riley Buck will lead off against Logan Simonek. Buck, Bailey Nickerson, and Paige Llewellyn right in the heart of that Shocker lineup. 4, 5, and 6. As you can see, Simonek shading her eyes with the sun. We always talk about this part of the day. Players on the right side of the field are going to have to do that for a little while until the sun sets behind the bleachers in the dugout to the west, which is behind the third base side. 0-1 to Buck. Riley 0 for 1, grounded out to short in the bottom of the first inning. Swing and a miss. There's a strike, 0-2.
Riley Buck has made a huge difference from last year. She had 40 at-bats last season with a 175 average. This year in 2018, 117 at-bats and a 333 average. That just goes to show you the adjustment she made from year to year to really stand out here for this Shocker lineup and really build a position for herself in the starting rotation.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Buck. Riley was 1 for 3 against Oklahoma State, but that 1 base hit was a double last month in Stillwater. Count holds 1-2 here. Riley has started at first base every game this season. Chops it foul. Leads the conference, Jamie, in fielding double plays. Like to have a pair of reliable hands over there at first, and she's done the job. One and two, and here comes the pitch. Cut on, and she swung and is going to head to first. And Buck is over at first base. Did Oklahoma State feel like she fouled that one? I think Gary Gajewski did think that she might have fouled that one. Here it is again. Simply got away from Thomas behind the plate. Buck alertly ran to first. And at this point, unless it's overturned, Riley's going to be on after a dropped third strike at first base. Umpires discussing it right now between the circle and first base.
We get the luxury of kind of slowing it down and taking a look at it from inside the booth. The umpires don't necessarily get to do that. So you get to see again with Riley Buck at the plate, and she's going to take a hack here. And it just looks like it actually missed her bat. In fact, she was about to walk off and head to the dugout thinking the same thing, but lucked out that it got past Thomas, and now she's on first base safely.
Yeah, Riley looked like she was content with going back to the dugout on a strikeout swinging, but then she saw the ball trickle away, and had she fouled it, she certainly would have just stayed there in the box, but she knew she didn't swing or foul that one, and this is a smash to center, and it's to the tree and gone. A homer for Bailey Nickerson. The Shockers have their 5-run lead back. Well, they're calling timber in center field, as this was a smash right into one of the trees just over the fence in center, and there was no doubt about this one.
That was a rocket right off the bat of Bailey Nickerson, and she knew it. I mean, it continued to soar all the way out there, and that's a line drive shot. That got out of here fast, even with the wind being a factor, hitting the tree and bouncing back in. You can see Bailey coming around, hitting Coach Bredbenner's hand and saying, let's go, let's get this started. And how big of a difference does that make for Riley Buck in the heads-up play, running to first base, now giving Bailey Nickerson the chance to score 2 instead of 1 with that rocket over the fence.
7th home run of the year, and that might do it for Simonek. Is Kenny Gajewski is out of the dugout, and he's talking with the home plate umpire, and he's got the scorecard out as well. And how about the shot by Nickerson? Runs batted in, 22 and 23, and the Shockers now have a 5-run lead again. 7-2 is our score. What a shot by Bailey Nickerson. Well, Jamie, we've got a few minutes here. It looks like we're going to have a pitching change, but we had a very interesting and fun pregame. We had, first of all, a couple of ceremonial first pitches from some kiddos. The Shockers are recognizing Mental Health Awareness Week, and they wore some green warm-up jerseys as a result of that. But that was not all of the dramatics in our pregame, as it was a very special moment for actually one of the members of the Oklahoma State staff.
Yeah, you can see Alex Jones here pitching that ball, losing a little bit of control, but who needs control when you're going to be surprised by someone that you recognize in a Shocker uniform? And that is her boyfriend, Remington, who decided to set up a nice little, surprise while she's here in Wichita. Decides to get down on one knee. She's shocked. And he proposes, and thank goodness for everyone at home, she does in fact say yes, which is great news for Remington and for Alex here in Wichita.
How about that? A pregame proposal, and she says yes, and a little bit of love out there by the circle. How about that?
You know what's funny about this, too, is Remington did all the work. He reached out to both coaches, Coach Bredbenner at Wichita State, Coach Gajewski at Oklahoma State, make sure that was okay with them, and said, hey, can I fit into a Shocker uniform? I'm 5'10", 190 pounds. What do you think, Coach Bredbenner? And she said, we'll make it work. Let's do it.
Here comes Paige Llewellyn, as Llewellyn will step in now, and she'll take a strike, and that is the first pitch from Samantha Clakeley, who we saw back on March 27th as well. Clakeley on in relief, making her 24th appearance of the season, and it's now 1-1 to Paige Llewellyn. Clakeley was the second of 3 pitchers the Shockers saw March 27th, and she went 3 innings, gave up 1 earned run. Pitches outside to Llewellyn, and it's 2-1. And there you see the numbers on the season for Clakeley. Almost twice as many strikeouts as she's issued free passes. Opponents are hitting .268 against her. And there for a strike as she took something off. Getting back to that proposal, though, Jamie, you're right. That took some planning for the individual proposing, but how about both coaches before a game going for it and giving their blessing? And that says a lot about both coaches to, coaches before a game, usually in that pregame, we don't want any distractions or anything. And they both said, you know what? This is cool. Let's roll with it.
Yeah, Christy's known for having one of those just really kind hearts. I'm sure Gajewski does too. I don't know him as well, but both of them really not wanting to come in the middle of a really special opportunity that the two had there for that little ceremony before first pitch.
And looking at the assistant coach for Oklahoma State, it was one thing that she realized it was her boyfriend wearing the catcher's gear, but then it went to a whole nother level when he got down on the knee and proposed as Llewellyn fouls this one up the first base side. And, of course, everybody on Oklahoma State's side knew it was coming except for her. Everybody on the field did, for that matter.
How would you feel going back into the dugout thinking, you guys, the whole way up here, all the way from Stillwater, kept that from me?
This one is fouled right side, and it lands. And Llewellyn is still alive. So congratulations to those two. We're going to have seen two really good teams, very good RPIs by the time the night's over, and a proposal as well that happened just before the game. Paige tightening up the shoelaces before we return. The shoelaces green. That also, I would assume, in relation to Mental Health Awareness Week, that the Shockers are recognizing as Llewellyn sends another one foul. This has turned into a really good at-bat for Paige.
Absolutely. Paige is battling back. And as you mentioned, just going back to her shoelaces, so Mental Health Awareness Week was actually back in September, which, as you know, is not a time for softball players to be playing and competing. So each team got to choose which game they were going to highlight as the mental health awareness. You can see them there as the students had the T-shirts on earlier, and then they continue to wear those shoelaces to represent throughout the game.
Very nice. Llewellyn draws a walk, and so far in this inning, 3 batters have reached base in a row for Wichita State. Nobody out runner at first for Bailey Lang. And the first pitch is a strike, 0-1 to Bailey, who bounced one back to the pitcher back in the second inning. That was a sacrifice, though, so she had not registered an official at bat. They called an illegal pitch right there, so that was not a strike. Instead, it's 1 ball and no strikes. And she fouls this one at the plate. That got the home plate umpire on the right ankle, and he's going to have to shake that one off for a little bit. Those do not feel good.
A new rule actually in Division I softball this year is for an illegal pitch, you used to see if there was a runner on base, them advance and take the next base. Well, in fact, this year, that is a new rule. The bases will continue to stay the same, and it'll just be a ball on the batter. Division I softball decided, you know what, I think a ball on the batter is enough of a punishment for having an illegal pitch, and so you'll see that be something different that continues through Division I softball.
Lang takes a strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So a pitcher versus pitcher battle here. Lang at the plate, Blakely in the circle for Oklahoma State. And Bailey sends one on the ground to first. That's just inside the line. That'll be fair, and Hafner steps on the bag for the first out of the inning. But it worked like a sacrifice because Llewellyn makes her way to second base, 1 away. And Madison Perrigan steps in now. Samantha Blakely started her college career at the University of Texas Arlington. She is a Texan from Carthage, Texas. Delivers a strike to Perrigan, 0-1. Madison had that fielder's choice back in the second inning. And there's a strike, and it's 0-2. She's quickly behind in the count. She was brought home on Mackenzie Wright's double. Now she's going to ground one to short. Pennington charging in, throws to first, got there just in the nick of time. 2 away after a 6-3 putout on the Paragon ground ball. Good fielding team this Oklahoma State team is. 972 their fielding percentage. About 15 percentage points higher than that of the Shockers this season. Only 36 errors by Oklahoma State. As Morgan Palmer steps in, slapped one to left for a flyout back in the second inning. But when you're a perennial power like Oklahoma State, and they are again this year, ranked in the top 25, you would think they'd play pretty good defense. You don't stay that good of a program for that long with poor defense, and this team that's won over 30 games getting it done again with the gloves this season as well.
Yeah, when you're playing in the Big 12 Conference, you're going to be competing against some great teams. And there you can see some other great teams that they're contending with. And that just continues to show why these two teams are so battle-tested leading into this game right here, is because of the type of teams and caliber they've been playing so far. And you're right, you don't get away with errors or free bags very often in games that you're going to win.
2-2, the count to Palmer with 2 away. Shockers up 5. As Clakeley checks for the pitch and delivers, and a swing and a miss. Down goes Palmer and the Shockers, but Wichita State picks up 2 more in the inning thanks to the Bailey Nickerson line drive smash to left. We'll go to the 4th, 7-2 Shockers.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shock the world.
Ready for the 4th inning now. Wichita State started the 3rd with a 5-run lead. And they'll start the 4th with a 5-run lead as each team brought to a cross in the 3rd frame. As the sun prepares to set off to the west, you can see the shadow there out near the rubber as we start inning number 4 now. And Jesse Hafner will lead things off. And you can see the pitch will just barely start off in sunshine before shadows cover the rest of the path. Outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes to Hafner. Hafner, one of 4 strikeout victims for Bailey Lang today. That happened to end the 2nd inning. This one sliced foul over toward the Shocker bullpen, 2-1. Bailey Lang with 2 strikeouts in the 1st inning, 2 in the 2nd, and Jamie, not only did the control get away from Bailey, she hit a batter, gave up a few base hits, no strikeouts in the 3rd, so she is trying to regain what she lost there in that 3rd inning from innings 1 to 2.
Well, and especially in the spot that she's in, you know, when you've got your 6, 7, 8 up to the plate, you're going to do whatever it takes to not have anyone up for Shippey and Lynch and Montgomery. So this is her big opportunity to set 3 down in a row.
Swung on and missed, and down goes Hafner, and maybe Lang has her groove back as she's got her 5th strikeout of the game. And there's 1 away.
Yeah, you can see her coming in, battling against the leadoff hitter for this inning, and that's a huge deal because you don't want to see the leadoff get on. We've seen what happens when they do, and so Bailey Lang hitting that outside corner and catching Hafner with that swing.
And she really put that one where if Hafner was going to get a piece of it, it wasn't going to be a very good piece. Down and away for strikeout number 5. Mackenzie Thomas is in with the count even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Thomas is the 190 hitter in the Oklahoma State lineup starting the day that was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. 2 balls and a strike. And so often, Jamie, leadoff walks, leadoff hit batters can lead to runs, and that's exactly what happened in that 3rd inning when Thomas got hit by the pitch. She later scored. 2-2.
If you're Bailey Lang, you feel good with a lead, too. I mean, that's going to make such a big difference. When you've got some runs on the board in your favor, you're going to look at your offense and say, okay, I need to make my adjustments and come out here and hold this offense of Oklahoma State down and not give up any more runs. And so what she's going to try and do here is regain control and maintain the lead as much as possible that she and her offense have really started to provide here in just the last 2 innings.
Little soft fly over towards second, and Hecker just drops the ball. That was a soft little floater, and Hecker came in, and I think that one probably, I'm going to guess, had a lot of spin on it because it was a soft fly ball, but you would think coming from a right-handed batter, that one was probably spinning like crazy. She tried to pick it up off the bounce.
Yeah, what was really interesting about this is the reaction of Hecker as it went up in the air. She kind of just trotted a little bit and then decides, wait, I don't think Buck's going to go for that. I need to get it, and then decides it's probably going to need to be a quick pass from glove to hand to make the throw, and unfortunately it was bobbled and provided Thomas with an opportunity to be on base.
Now, you know what? You're right, and maybe more than spin. Now that I've watched the replay, maybe it was in the sun. Again, somebody on the right side of the field, the way she casually went after that at first, maybe she thought it was a deeper fly ball. And now we've got a bunt base hit. And now 2 runners are on for Oklahoma State. Thomas and Holcomb have each reached on an error and now a base hit. And that's at the bottom of the Oklahoma State lineup.
Yeah, you can see this bunt being put down, and it was a nice one. I mean, it hits right off the very top half of the batter's box, and it bounces pretty high where Mackenzie Wright and Madison Perrigan really kind of had to decide who was going to get it. And I think by the time it landed, they said, you know what, let's try and see if this thing goes foul because I don't think we've got a shot at it. And it really just kind of died right there, and it was a great bunt from Holcomb.
Boy, the Shockers asking for trouble here with 2 on at the bottom of the order. Now back to the top with the dangerous Shippey. A one-hopper, though, back to Lang and a big out at first base. 1-3, a huge bounce out there. Boy, the Shockers really needed that, Jamie. And how about that? A soft little bouncer out to second that's mishandled. Then a bunt, and then your best hitter hits one pretty well, but right back to the pitcher for a big second out.
And not an easy play either. You see Bailey Lang really come off the mound and off the ground here. That was a fast play. I mean, you could even tell in the replay, that is some type of reaction. We talk about Bailey Lang's athleticism when she's out in the outfield, when she's not pitching, and she sure showed it there and made sure to get a huge out of Shippey at first base.
So second and third, Taylor Lynch is bunting, but it's foul. That was the second pitch she saw, and the count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike. And here it is again. It was just really laid out there well as Mackenzie Wright charged in. Not much to do, and now this one, a soft little floater into left field for a base hit. One will score, and so will the other. And we have a 3-run game now. It's 7-4. Well, I mentioned the Shockers were playing with fire down there at the bottom of the order. You give up an error in the bunt base hit on top of the order for Oklahoma State. More often than not is going to make you pay.
Yeah, and Lynch takes this one out there, and you can see again in no man's land as Lorianne Derecho tries to extend her arm, and then you've got Morgan Palmer in left field coming in with the throw. But, you know, it just makes all the difference when you don't get those quick outs.
Buck does make the put out on a 3 unassisted to end the top of the 4th inning, but not before Oklahoma State scores 2 for the second consecutive inning. The Shocker lead is back down to 3.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Crowd bundled up but seeing a good one today. You can see Oklahoma State putting the heat on Wichita State with 4 runs in the last 2 innings. The Shockers up 3. Shockers have only out-hit Oklahoma State by 1. And we'll see what happens with that error, Jamie, committed by the Shockers that eventually did lead to a run. And think about 2 of the 4 runs for Oklahoma State now. A hit batter to lead off the 3rd inning, somebody who's batting $190, and then that error out at second base on Hecker. The things you can't normally do against a team that's already won 32 games. Wright takes a ball 1-0. Top of the order for the Shockers, Wright, Weber, and Derecho. And Mackenzie is going to send one towards second, fielded cleanly by Montgomery. And a throw to first for a 4-3, 1 away. It's a big first out for the Cowgirls, Jamie. Mackenzie Wright with a double and a triple in her first 2 at-bats. But well played there by Montgomery.
Yeah, and you can see her with the shades on, and you never really know when you've got a ball coming your way at this time of the day here at Wilkins Stadium. It could take a weird hop. It could be in the sun. So Mackenzie Wright showing that she can go left to right, and that time being retired for the first time, and that's a huge out for the Oklahoma State Cowgirls.
So here's Asia Weber now. Just misses. The Cowgirl fans really on the home plate umpire there, 2-0. Asia, a home run her last time up. Shockers have really brought their power stroke today, even though there is a pretty stiff breeze blowing in from left field. But Weber and Bailey Nickerson have both gone to center field as time is called. And again, Asia's home run, Jamie, on the season gave her 3, and 2 of them against Oklahoma State. So you know that the adrenaline might be flowing a little bit more freely when she's taking on the Cowgirls. 2-0. Q-sticked over toward the Cowgirl dugout. Counts even 2, or excuse me, now it's 2-1.
And we've seen Weber slowly inch her way up into this role for Wichita State as well. I mean, she wasn't in this 2 spot the entire season, but as she's etched up all the way from the bottom of the lineup all the way up to the 2 spot, she's feeling comfortable, and she looks really good at the plate right now in this half of the season.
Asia's riding a 9-game hitting streak. Now 10 with her home run in the 2nd inning. So she is now stringing them together as well. 3 balls and a strike ahead in the count here. Takes a strike, and the count's now full. Samantha Clakeley has pitched in 121 innings this season, more than any other Oklahoma State Cowgirl. And strike 3 is called, and down goes Weber, and that's out number 2. 53rd strikeout of the season for Clakeley as she got Weber frozen, and now Lori Derecho in. which is outside for a ball.
Something I noticed right after that at bat with Weber was Coach Bredbender talking to the first base umpire and about how she really thinks Clakeley is illegally pitching, making some movements with her hands and saying that she's pretty far off of the mound. And I think she's really looking to see that be a call from that first base umpire here against Clakeley.
Clakeley took something off the last pitch, but a ball 2-0. That one comes in tight, and Derecho fouls it off 2-1. There's Coach Bredbender down at third. Watching one of the best hitters in the history of this program, and she's still got a full season left after this one. Lori Derecho takes a strike, 2-2. Third in total bases is Derecho in the conference this season, amongst all the other things she's done, and that'll help as she sends one into right field for a base hit. So a 2-out single will get Riley Buck up to the plate now as Derecho is 2 for 3 on the night. So Riley steps in. We'll see what the Shockers do with Derecho over at first base with 2 outs. Lori has only attempted a couple of stolen bases this season, though, as Buck takes a ball 1-0. Shockers with 27 stolen bases as a team starting tonight. Oklahoma State with just 22. A little soft bouncer out toward short. Pennington will charge. Throw to first low. And now time has been called. What have they decided here? It looked like Buck beat the throw. The first base umpire made the time motion. I think he was saying she's safe. Am I seeing that right, that the first base umpire said, I meant to say safe? He made the time call, and then it looked like he looked at Coach Bredbender and said safe. It was my fault. I just made the wrong signal. I think that's what happened.
Well, and I'm seeing Coach Gajewski from Oklahoma State with the same confusion. I think when we saw the foot of Riley Buck hit first base, it was almost a time call. There was no reaction whatsoever. So now that we're seeing it, I mean, it is certainly turning out to be a safe call, but the initial call didn't seem to exist.
Yeah, the throw will go over and see if we can see him say time. And then Coach Bredbender stormed out of the third base coach's area, and then he motions safe. And just after he went out of frame, that's exactly what happened. Well, first and second for the Shockers. Here's Bailey Nickerson, who had a line drive smash to one of the trees in center field for a home run her last time up. One ball, no strikes. To Bailey, who picked up the 2 runs batted in. Yeah, if there are any environmentalists that see that home run from Bailey Nickerson, they will be none too happy with her after that. She nearly knocked that thing over. Takes a strike, and it's 1-2. It got out of here in a hurry, too.
Yes, it did. Had a lot of sting to it. So if you are an environmentalist, you might go and hang with the tree and show your love for what it took today.
Goes the other way this time. Lynch coming on, and Lynch is going to get there, and that will retire the side. So the Shockers get a little 2-out rally, but can't score, and we'll go to the 5th. Wichita State still by 3.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
On to the fifth inning on a sunny, windy one. Sun's just about to go behind the building there, behind Wilkins Stadium, and when it does, we won't have a lot more sunshine on the field, particularly out in right where you can still see plenty of bright sunshine. I think Asia Weber probably excited to know that the sun is just about to disappear behind the building. Sydney Pennington will lead it off. Oklahoma State trailing the Shockers by 3 as we start inning number 5, and Bailey Lang's first offering is outside for a ball, 1-0.
Speaking of right field, Pennington went to out to Asia Weber in her last at bat with a fly ball out that direction. So heads up out there. You might have one more really tough play while the sun's still here.
Hot shot instead to right. Throws to first in time for a 5-3 putout, 1 away. Shockers will be at home this weekend. The very, very tough Central Florida Knights will be here. And Jamie, there's already some preparations. Now, nothing is confirmed, obviously, because it's weather related and things can change, but it looks like we may have to be pretty flexible with our scheduling for the weekend, because a lot of rain scheduled for Wichita here almost entirely throughout the day on Saturday as Whitney Whitehorn takes a strike, 0-1. That one close, 1-1. Friday should be okay. Sunday, some rain is in the forecast, although nothing like Saturday, where from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed, it could be raining the entire day through here in Wichita. 2 balls and a strike to Whitehorn.
Seems the weather has been so nice here in Wichita during the week, and then it just kind of plays with you a little bit on the weekend, and so it is causing a little bit of schedule changes for the Shockers. We saw them pulling the tarp last weekend with some fun, or excuse me, the weekend before last, having some good rain, sleet rain type things going on here.
Yeah, shoveling snow off at 10 in the morning last weekend we were here. 3 balls and a strike to Whitehorn, who is 0 for 1. She's flied out and walked, and takes one right down Main Street. The count's filled at 3-2 now. Bouncer out to Hecker, cleanly fields it this time, and a throw to first. And 2 groundouts here in the top of the 5th inning, and that is what Bailey Lang wants, Jamie. She got the strikeouts early, but now starting to rack up the ground ball outs, including 2 of them this inning.
Again, those are the adjustments you make. Keep your defense involved. Keep them on their toes. Seeing Kaylee Hecker make a nice play there, and right before that, Mackenzie Wright at third base. Use your teammates as much as you can.
Chelsea Alexander steps in now, takes a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Alexander 0 for 2. She has struck out and popped out. 2 balls and no strikes to her. Alexander came into the game at 309, so Bailey Lang has really done a number on her. Conversely, Mackenzie Thomas, who's hitting a .190, has reached base both times and scored twice as well. 2 balls and a strike, the count.
Alexander, a freshman, only making her 25th start on the season so far for Oklahoma State.
Stabbed at it and missed, 2-2. Alexander is a freshman starting in left field, as Jamie alluded to, and she takes here, and the count's 3-2. This is an opportunity, really, this part of the lineup where Bailey Lang can really thrive this inning if she gets out of it here, and then the next as well, as there's ball 4, and it won't happen yet. The reason is because Hafner coming up, Jamie, is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And Mackenzie Thomas again coming into the game at under 200 So if Lang can get rid of Hafner here, she'll have Thomas leading off the 6th inning, who's struggled this season at the plate. Critical time here for Bailey to do away with the Cowgirl and get those shocker bats right back up there, but the first pitch high for a ball.
You can see Madison Paragon calling timeout. Go and talk to your pitcher. I think that shows a lot of leadership behind the plate. When you have a catcher who can come out and feel comfortable talking to you out in the circle, when you're kind of struggling getting behind your hitters so far in this inning, that says a lot. And we talk about that. Slow the game down a little bit. You know, Bailey Lang likes to really work fast. She thrives doing that. But sometimes you need to take a deep breath, focus in with your catcher, and get going from here.
Hafner sends one through into center field for a base hit. Derecho couldn't come up with it cleanly. And Oklahoma State now with 2 on and 2 away. And a continuing trend, Jimmy, of opponents against Wichita State having success at the middle or down toward the bottom of their lineup, and albeit sometimes on plays that don't get fielded cleanly by Wichita State. Derecho had trouble with that one. Not sure if that's an error or not, but Lori didn't come up with that one clean. It looked like it might have taken a tricky hop as it got to her.
It did. It looked like she was actually running pretty hard toward it, and it almost bounced back the other way. So that is going to come up with an error on Lori and Derecho. And nice heads-up play from Alexander, who was on first base after being walked and took third as that ball went out into center field on the error from Lori Ann's. Now you got runners at first and third base for Oklahoma State.
And Michaela Richborg is going to step up to the plate, pinch hitting for Thomas. Thomas had been on twice tonight, but again, hitting only 190. She was hit by a pitch and reached on an error, so Richborg will step in as the pinch hitter at 294 on the year. So Oklahoma State gains about 100 percentage points in the batting average department with this change, and the count's now 2-0 to Richborg. Time has been called. Ryan Stefankowitz out of the dugout. Again, a very critical time right here. The tying run is at the plate, and if you're wondering about Richborg, she's hit a couple home runs this year, but Ryan Stefankowitz probably just telling Lang, just focus on getting an out right here. Doesn't matter where it's hit or how. Get an out, you'll be out of the inning. Don't worry about the runners.
Richborg is a freshman from Broken Bow, Oklahoma. She has definitely seen some appearances here for Oklahoma State and has really made a difference too. She has had a few opportunities for some RBI opportunities, so I'm sure that's what Kenny Gajewski is looking for here as the head coach for Oklahoma State, to see her do just that here against Lang.
Now the home plate umpire is called time. He's walking up the third baseline, and he's going to have some words with Gajewski, and I don't know what this is about. Gajewski is none too happy whatever they're talking about. I would assume the strike zone and ball strike calls. But it's rare that you see the umpire go down and chat with a coach like that. Interesting. All right. Gajewski seems to be okay with it. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Richborg. And she sends one deep to center field, but right at Nickerson to retire the side. So the tying run reached the plate for Oklahoma State, and Lang gets out of the inning. Shockers still by 3 after 4.5.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Been a good one tonight. Seen a lot from Wilkins Stadium. A few fireworks, some home runs, wedding proposal. Interesting conversation between home plate umpire and head coach in the third base coach's box. In the meantime, it's back to the action now, and that means Samantha Blakely will toe the rubber for Oklahoma State with her Cowgirls trailing the Shockers by 3 as Paige Llewellyn will step in. And Paige takes down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. The Shockers, as I mentioned, have only won 9 times in 88 games against Oklahoma State. And they've never swept the Cowgirls. 1 ball and 1 strike here. In all of the years that these two teams have met more than once in a season, Wichita State has never swept the season series. They've got a chance here, and a good one now, as Llewellyn sends one down the right side. Lynch is over, but she runs out of room. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think it says a lot about the American Athletic Conference, Jamie. This team has played such a difficult schedule, Wichita State, but look at Tulsa. They've already beaten Oklahoma State as well, and Llewellyn's going to send one out towards short. That's going to be gloved by Pennington for a soft little liner, 1 away. But Houston, a very good team, one of the best pitching teams the Shockers have seen all season long. Tulsa gave Wichita State trouble here a couple weeks ago, so if you wonder how can the Shockers play so well against such a good team like Oklahoma State and go through conference play right now and be at about 500, well, at 500 right on the dot, in fact. Well, there are a lot of good teams in the conference. Here's a shot to center. This one is back and gone. Bailey Lang with some insurance. Shockers by 4 as the pitcher sends one out to center. Number 4 of the year for her. And for the Shockers, they've got their 3rd round tripper of the day. And another one, Jamie, there was no doubt about.
And you can see this one again just soaring over the center field fence. I'll tell you what, center field has seen a lot of action today, and that's with balls going over the fence off the bats of the Shockers. And you can see Bailey Lang just getting pumped up as she's going to round third and see her team. She says, you know what? I know I'm your pitcher, but I'm also going to provide a little bit of offensive power, and here I come. And that was a great job from Bailey Lang.
8-4 Wichita State now as the Shockers have sent 3 over the fence, all of them, as Jamie said, to center. Madison Perrigan takes a strike, 1-1. Ninth hit of the game for Wichita State, and a 3rd of them of the home run variety as a strike is taken. 1-2 to Perrigan. Madison is 0 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 2nd inning. She grounded out to short in the 3rd. Down and away, 2-2. Shockers pumped up in that dugout, making some noise, and why not? They've doubled up the Cowgirls now in runs, and they almost have in hits, where it's 9-5. Thomas can't track this one down before finding the backstop, 2-2.
Talk about team chemistry in the game of softball all the time, and you saw that Shocker dugout. They're all huddled together right at the very front of the dugout to cheer on Madison Perrigan here with 1 out, because they want to see something continue here, and they've got her back, and they're loud. They're going to chirp all game long because they're all together there, making sure that they are playing together in each game, each at bat, even if they're not standing on the field at the time. So that just goes to show you that successful teams have a lot of chemistry. They work hard together, and they have each other's backs even from inside their own dugout there.
And if they could just get this bat going of Madison Perrigan's, who did have 3 hits over the weekend. Solid contact here. This one might be number 4, and it is. Right on cue, Madison to right center. It's 9-4. These Shocker hitters have said we're staying away from left field. 3 to center, that one to right center. not much question about any of these. This one the same.
You can just see Madison Paragon. She is running quick down that first base line, and I don't think it's because she doesn't think it's over. I think it's because she knows that that momentum is going to carry her all the way around the bases as she comes around. She is pumped. Talking to Coach Bredbender and then coming into her team. Again, this is just a team that when you're hitting and you're on fire, it's contagious. It goes all the way through the lineup, and that one from Paragon this time.
Morgan Palmer is in now. And it looks like Paragon sent another one to a tree out there again. Those poor trees are taking a beating. Nickerson had a line drive screamer into a tree and straightaway center, and that time to right field. Paragon caught one. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Morgan Palmer. Morgan's got yet to hit one out this season. Of course, she is the lone slap hitter in the Shocker starting lineup. 1 ball and 2 strikes to her here. Christy Bredbender and company just happy to get Morgan on base and flip it around to the top of the order. Batting $169 on the year, 0 for 2 tonight. And it's now 2-2.
Morgan Palmer's going to be your quickest Shocker in this lineup. She is definitely someone, as you mentioned, Steve, is when they can get her on base, she's going to go all the way around when possible. So it's just a matter of getting the ball on the ground and getting there safely.
Well, she gets it on the ground, but thrown out at first for the second out of the inning. A 6-3 putout. Pennington on the money to Hafner, 2 away. So back to the top of the order now, and that means Mackenzie Wright, who really has maybe the 2 hardest parts of the cycle out of the way in her first 2 at-bats, double and triple. Don't know if Mackenzie will get 2 more at-bats, but she just needs a single and a homer for the cycle. Instead, she's going to fly out to right field on an adventure for Lynch, who made it interesting out there and squeezing it in, but the Shockers go back-to-back with bombs. Lang followed by Paragon, and Wichita State is back up by 5.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new Student-Athlete Success Center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Cowgirls running out of outs now, 9-4 Wichita State. Shockers won a 5-3 thriller in Stillwater at the end of last month, and 6 outs away from picking up a victory against the Cowgirls here this evening from Wilkins Stadium. Steve Strange, Jamie Bredbender with you as it'll be Oklahoma State starting things off here in the top of the 6th inning, and Lori Derecho nearly a diving stop at short on Maddie Holcomb's shot towards center field. That was a great effort that time, but Oklahoma State's going to get their leadoff batter aboard.
Talk about a stellar opportunity for Lorianne Derecho. Holy cow. She just fully extends, and just unfortunately it tips her right off the end of the glove and over to her counterpart in Kaylee Hecker. But man, what a nice diving attempt, at least, to show the hustle over there at shortstop.
Back to the top of the order now with Vanessa Shippey as Lori has gotten the uniform dirty. There you can see it. Almost came up with an incredible play in the process, but a base hit for the Cowgirls to start the top of the 6th inning. Vanessa Shippey is in now. That one was close, but misses. 1-1. Jamie, the 8 and 9 hitters for Oklahoma State have been up to the plate 6 times, and they have reached 4 of those 6 times. And one of the 2 times they didn't, it was a sacrifice bunt. And then you go to the top of the order and get base hits like that, and that can make things difficult for a team. Fortunately, the Shockers are up 5, but Shippey is going to pick up her 2nd hit of the game. So 1st and 2nd now with nobody out. Interesting for Maddie Holcomb right there. She's got to wait and see if it's going to get caught or not.
Yeah, that's a tough position to be in as a runner, because here you see her going, maybe I can go, maybe not. I don't want to get off too far. I might get thrown out at first base, and then she gets to have that really quick decision to make that slide into 2nd.
Taylor Lynch was bunting. She pulled it back, and Perrigan didn't look the ball into the glove, I believe, is why that one goes back to the backstop, and Oklahoma State's got 2 in scoring position all of a sudden. Here it is again. Let's see if Perrigan just got a little bit of an alligator arm here and squeezed it in. Didn't really look it in. And now runners at 2nd and 3rd for the Cowgirls. Nobody out is Lynch. Fouls one away. So Oklahoma State's now got him at 2nd and 3rd. Holcomb at 3rd, Shippey at 2nd. Taylor Lynch takes 2 balls and a strike to her. Shockers up 5, top of the 6th, but nowhere near out of the woods. Not against a team like this. Oklahoma State hits .331 collectively as Lang, a much-needed strike there. Counts even at 2-1.
Lang definitely has control of that changeup today, and you can see it there. I mean, she's coming back in it when she needs a strike, and she's leaning on it, and that's a great pitch to be leaning on. It's going to keep those hitters off balance. If she can keep it in the zone the rest of this game, I think she'll be pretty successful as that one does go out of the zone.
This might be the biggest pitch of the game right here. It's a 5-run lead for the Shockers, but the count's full with runners at 2nd, 3rd, and you got the number 3 hitter up next, and this is a drive to the gap. Right center field, it's down, it will score 2. And heading to 2nd is Lynch. She'll stop there. It's 9-6 after a 2 RBI double for Taylor Lynch, who now has 5 runs batted in on the night. She is 3 for 4 with a couple of singles. This time a 2 RBI double, and the Shockers, again, nowhere near in the clear here in the top of the 6th inning.
And with a 3-2 count, Lang had to come to her, and that she did. And you can see Lynch continuing to be successful against Lang, sending that one out to the right center field fence. And, you know, earlier today we saw her do the same thing, just to left field. And we've seen great hitters make adjustments, go left to right. Lynch continues to do so, and in a big way, providing a few more runs here for Oklahoma State.
First pitch is in there to Maddie Sue Montgomery, 0-1. So Sydney Pennington waits on deck, and she represents the tying run in the game with nobody out. Lang desperately needing an out. She might get one here. Perrigan dives and makes a great catch. What a catch behind the dish by Madison Perrigan on a bunt foul, and Montgomery, the number 3 hitter in the Oklahoma State lineup, hits .390 on the year, is bunting, and she pops out.
What a play. Madison Perrigan behind the plate, having absolutely no idea where that ball is, and she shouldn't. As a catcher, you're so focused on making sure that the ball's coming to you. You're looking for it on the ground. If anything, she looks up, has to battle a little bit before she just decides, you know what, I'm laying out for this one. Great play.
Sydney Pennington up there now. What an interesting decision by Oklahoma State, whether that was Coach Gajewski making that call or Montgomery doing it on her own. 1 ball and 1 strike to Pennington. But you've got a .390 hitter up there, down 3 runs with nobody out and a runner in scoring position, and you bunt. Shockers will take that. Hot shot to right at 3rd. They nearly had a double play opportunity. But Lynch dives back to the bag. Oh, that would have been huge for Wichita State if they'd gotten the double play there. But now, all of a sudden, 2 quick outs, a pop out, and a line out. There's good reflexes by Wright over at 3rd.
Time and time again, we see the hot corner senior Mackenzie Wright not settling with just making the nice grab, but really wanting to get out number 2 in that exact situation. We've seen it again, like I mentioned, time and time again from her over at third base, not settling, wanting to get that other out, but a nice heads-up play from Lynch to stay at second.
Whitney Whitehorn goes deep down the right side. It clears the fence, but foul. 0-1 to her. When you almost think where the Shockers were, if they can get out of this having only given up 2 runs, they might well take that. After the way this inning started, but the bunt pop out and then a line out, and just like that, runner at second, 2 away. And Lang is now 1 strike away from getting out of the bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the 6th, excuse me. Whitehorn is 0 for 2. And a swing and a miss, and down she goes. So some trouble in the inning for Lang as she gave up 3 straight hits, including a 2 RBI double, then retires the side in order after that to the bottom.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
After 5.5, Wichita State has a 3-run lead. Shockers into double digits in hits, nearly there in runs. But Oklahoma State has 3 2-run innings, and the Cowgirls hanging around. Steve Strain, Jamie Hull with you as we have made our way close to 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. Shockers will be here again this weekend for Central Florida. The question, because of rain in the forecast, especially Saturday, will be when we'll play, and we'll just have to see what happens with Mother Nature. Game 1 of the series scheduled for 6 o'clock Friday against Central Florida. First pitch to Asia Weber is in there for a strike, 0-1. According to the schedule, it's 6, 3, and noon, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That Saturday one, though, Jamie, very much in doubt. There's a swing and a miss to Weber. Quickly, it's 0-2. New pitcher in the game, by the way, for Oklahoma State, as the Cowgirls have Emmy Robertson out there in the circle. And there's a look at her. Weber sends one the other way to left. Into the teeth of the wind, though, and running back in and making a nice catch is Alexander, and there's one away. So we'll just have to wait and see if there's any softball at all on Saturday, and if not, will we play a doubleheader Friday or Sunday? Well, stay tuned. One away. Here's Lori Derecho. But again, 6, 3, and 12 are the start times. First pitch to Derecho up high for ball, scheduled for now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a big series, Jamie. The Shockers will have their final, that's right, their final conference homestand this coming weekend. Derecho back to the screen, 1-1. The Shockers will have 2 more home games after this weekend, but they'll be non-conference. Missouri will be here for a doubleheader May 2nd. But in terms of American Athletic Conference play at home this weekend, we'll wrap it up.
They'll be celebrating Senior Day. Got 3 seniors here at Wichita State. Going to be celebrated against Central Florida here this weekend. That's Morgan Palmer, Mackenzie Wright, and Paige Llewellyn.
Two balls and a strike. Lifted right side. Lynch had it played just about perfectly. then adjusts for the breeze. Makes the catch, 2 flyouts here in the 6th.
Speaking of Morgan Palmer, it was actually her birthday today. So not only is she celebrating Senior Day this weekend, but she's also celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Morgan.
So here's Riley Buck stepping in now. Riley takes the first for a ball, 1-0. Now, even though this isn't the final home games of the season, is it because it's the final weekend to get the parents here? Is that the reason Senior Day will be on a weekend?
Exactly, yep. It's always going to be that last home stretch against your conference opponent. So this year being against Central Florida, the very first senior weekend celebrated within the American Conference here for Wichita State. So making some history. It's been a fun year.
Sure has. Flown by. Tipped at the plate. And that one again got the home plate umpire, and he's really a little bit woozy after that, because he's gone down to a knee. That one was fouled, and you could hear it hit. I thought it hit the chest protector, but still, even if it did, that's not going to feel very good. And the home plate umpire is kneeling over and appears to have really gotten the wind taken out of him. He's got his glasses off now, talking to the Shocker trainer. Here it is again, and you can see what happens. What is that, the upper shoulder it looked like? The right shoulder maybe? Now I'm being told it was actually in the face. So it may have actually got him in the face. Here it is again. He's got the face mask, of course, but yeah, right square in the middle of the face mask.
You really got to give it to umpires. They are in the line of fire all the time, and that coming off of the bat of Riley Buck at a very high speed.
Well, and it can be not only in the line of fire, Jamie, the softballs, but also, as you see, he's getting the test from the Shocker trainer there. You're also in the line of fire verbally, as we've already seen in this game. It really can be a thankless job, and we forget the importance of what those guys do, and that it's not an easy job, and making sure everything looks good with the eyes now.
When you talk about weather conditions too, you know, the players, the coaches, the folks here watching are all battling the weather, and the umpires doing the same thing. So looks like he's shaking it off a little bit, going to take a few little peeks here off Emmy Robertson, making sure that he's got a nice view back, and thank goodness he is definitely looking like he is taking that like a champ, and he's back in there.
Well, and I'll say this about the weather. This is probably not the worst weather day to have that happen. I mean, you probably don't want that to happen when it's 90 degrees out there and you're sweating. You don't want it to happen when it's 35 or 40 degrees, which we've seen here recently. This is somewhere in between that. Maybe that makes it a little easier, and hopefully he is A-okay. So Buck will step back in with the count, 2 balls and a strike. Good pitch that time by Robertson, and the count is now 2-2.
Robertson is in her first year here at Oklahoma State, actually a transfer from Pittsburgh State University here in Kansas, which is where Elizabeth Economan came from. She was the head coach there before coming over to Wichita State, stepping in as the hitting assistant in her first year here for the Shockers.
Full count pitch to Buck. He's fouled back to the screen. Emmy Robertson was the starting pitcher against Wichita State March 27th. Only lasted 2 innings, gave up 3 hits and 2 earned runs. This one lifted near the bag at second. And the catch is going to be made by Montgomery, and the side retired. Shockers go quietly in the bottom of the 6th, needing 3 outs to get the sweep.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
The Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes is the perfect place to spend time with family and friends. Open to the public, the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes features 8 bowling lanes, billiard tables, plus great food and beverages like freshly made burgers, sandwiches, salad, cold beer, and more. The Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes, located in the lower level of the Radigan Student Center. It's the perfect place for kids' birthday parties, group events, or a night out with friends. Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes, open to the public, helping bring you Shocker softball right here on WSUTV. To the 7th inning we go. Wichita State by 3, 9-6. Chelsea Alexander will lead it off for the Cowgirls. And the first pitch to her is going to be shot out toward center field. That'll be a base hit for Oklahoma State to start it off. Alexander had gone 0 for 2, not the way Bailey Lang wanted the 7th inning to start, but the Cowgirls have their leadoff batter aboard. Just the third time today Oklahoma State has gotten their leadoff batter aboard. Here's Jesse Hafner now. Lang rears back and delivers one right across, 0-1. Hafner has struggled today. She is 0 for 3, struck out twice, did reach on that error by Lori Derecho her last time up. Rips this one foul, 0-2.
Hafner is a product of Wichita, Kansas. Grew up in the area, attended Bishop Carroll High School on the west side of town, and has since been at the Oklahoma State in Stillwater ever since.
This kind of reminds you of the game in Stillwater a few weeks ago. The Shockers had a 3-run lead. They won 5-2. It's a 3-run lead here. Another one yanked foul. Look out, Kenny Gajewski as he jumped out of the way of that one. Bailey Klitsky came on in that game to secure it for the Shockers. It's Bailey Lang that's out there now. You'll wonder if Klitsky is warming up in the bullpen, something we can't see from here, as this one intentionally up and away, 1-2. Hafner struck out swinging in the second, struck out swinging in the fourth. Oh, that one was close. Lang trying to paint the outer edge, just barely missed, 2-2, and here it is again.
It's a great spot for it. You know, an 0-2 count, you expect it off the plate. This, the 1-2, nice spot from Bailey Lang.
And she misses again. I think that 2-2 was a good call, and that one, no question about it, and it's full, 3-2, and once again Lang in danger of putting the number 7 hitter in the Oklahoma State lineup aboard. Took something off, strike 3 called, and down she goes. Hafner, a strikeout victim for the 3rd time tonight. That was big.
That's that Bailey Lang changeup. It's critical. It's something she leans on all the time, and there you see it with a 3-2 count, lands right in there on the inside half of the plate. What a beautiful pitch from the arm of Bailey Lang. Huge first out.
7th strikeout of the game for Lang, so Bailey has averaged 1 per inning. As Oklahoma State now with a runner at first and 1 away. And the Cowgirls look like they're going to the bench. So it'll be Elise LaBouffe that is in as a pinch hitter for Oklahoma State. Takes a strike, 0-1. So LaBouffe is hitting in the 8th spot as a pinch hitter. Swings and misses. Mackenzie Thomas started the game hitting out of that position, and then Richburg came in last time up as a pinch hitter in the 5th, and now LaBeouf is here. 0-2. Just 143 on the season, and down she goes. And the Shockers are 1 out away from their first ever sweep of Oklahoma State in a season series that went more than one game. And here is strike 3 again.
3 pitches. You see Bailey Lang again just continuing to work what she knows how to do. That's throw strikes, get ahead. And that's exactly what she has been successful doing. The innings where she has struggled, she's been behind the hitters in the majority of this game, getting ahead and really providing a lot of defensive momentum for her Shockers.
So Maddie Holcomb will step in as the last hope for Oklahoma State. The tying run would be on deck, and that's Vanessa Shippey, but Bailey Lang hoping not even to deal with her. If she can retire Holcomb, that will be it. First pitch, and Holcomb is bunting back out in front of the circle, and there'll be no throw to first as Hecker got over there late. And that's a big play, Jamie, because now we do go back to the top of the order, and we do get the tying run potentially for Oklahoma State up to the plate with Vanessa Shippey. A well-placed bunt here.
Yeah, you can see the bunt just goes into no man's land, and I don't think anybody in the infield was expecting a bunt right there, and it definitely worked out in the favor of Oklahoma State and off the bat of Holcomb.
Shippey's got 4 home runs on the season. First pitch taken, it's a strike, 0-1. She's got 2 base hits tonight, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 6th. Both times she scored later in that half inning. The 0-1, lifted, this could do it. Toward right field, Weber coming on. Weber is there, and the Shockers get a win and a Wichita State sweep. 9-6 the final as the Shockers get it done. They've beaten Oklahoma State twice for the first time in a season. And Bailey Lang, not her best tonight, but Jamie, she was good enough.
Oh, she was just hitting the corners. Her changeup was right on, and she came up in the clutch at the biggest situations possible for her defense. And man, not only doing it at the plate, but also out on the mound today for Bailey Lang.
We'll be back to wrap it up in a moment after a Shocker victory.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Welcome back to Wilkins Stadium. It's a happy bunch of Shockers meeting with their happy coach, Christy Bredbender, out in right field as Wichita State comes away with a 3-run victory, 9-6, as Oklahoma State managed 3 2-run innings on the night, but the Shockers had 7 early, 1 in the first, 4 in the second, 2 more in the third before they added a 2 spot in the 5th to come away with the 3-run win. And Bailey Lang, not always her best tonight, but boy, did she have to work out Vanessa Shippey to finish it off, and got a pitch that Shippey went after, and Shippey just went straight up to right field, and that was that.
And I think we all held our breath, too, because if there's one person in the lineup you don't want to face when the game is on the line, it's Vanessa Shippey, and Bailey Lang came out with a huge pop-up out, and look at her just pumped up at the end of the game with the rest of her Shockers.
And how about those Shocker bats tonight? 4 home runs. They didn't mess with any into the wind and left. They hit 3 to center, 1 to right. They had the power stroke working tonight.
Yeah, and if you want to look at a stat that really makes a difference here, both teams had 10 hits on the night, but Wichita State only 4 runners left on base against the Oklahoma State team that had 10 runners left on base. So they just didn't capitalize when they had runners in scoring position, and Wichita State did. They cleared the bases many times, and usually with the long ball.
Asia Weber, Bailey Nickerson, Bailey Lang, and Madison Paragon all with round trippers. Bailey Lang, the winning pitcher, is now 13-10 on the season, while Lauren Semenuk takes the loss. She is now 8-4. Shockers improved to 24-17 on the season. Oklahoma State falls to 32-13. 2 of those 13 losses to Wichita State. So the Shockers get it done tonight, and we will be with you again on Friday night as Jamie and I will have the Shockers and Central Florida first pitch scheduled for 6 o'clock on Friday night. So the tough nights will be here, Jamie. That ought to be fun.
It will be the first time Wichita State's ever faced them, and right here at Wilkins Stadium, it'll be one you don't want to miss.
All right, so we'll talk to you Friday night from here at 6 o'clock. For Jamie Hull, I'm Steve Strain. Thanks to Greg Mathias and our great crew getting all the shots like that one of a Shocker 9-6 victory. Until Friday night, so long, everybody.